In this video, we will look at the biggest mistakes that people make in the IELTS speaking exam. And then we will look at what you can do to make sure that you don't make any of these mistakes. So let's begin. Now, to save you time, here are the 7 mistakes that we will look at in this video. And remember, I will teach you how to make sure that you do not make any of these mistakes. Mistake number 1 is to use memorized answers. Now, I have examined many speaking exams in the past, and this is the one that is probably disliked the most by examiners. And that's because memorizing answers is almost like cheating. So, if we cannot memorize our answers, what can we do to help us in the IELTS speaking exam? Well, you can fix this in 2 simple steps. The first step is to watch YouTube videos of speaking exams. Now, when you do watch these speaking exams, you want to search for band 7 or higher. And by watching these videos, you will learn what a good answer sounds like. And you will also see that none of these answers look like they have been memorized. They are all very natural. And this is one of the ways we can make sure we get a high score. Now, the second step is to practice answering IELTS speaking questions. So what you can do is access some websites, and I will leave some links in the description below. You can access these websites, search for the questions, and then you can just answer these questions. You can answer them out loud, or if you have a friend, he or she can ask you the question and you can just reply to your friend. This is probably a better idea. Now, these steps should be done over and over and over again, especially step 2. Remember, practice makes improvement. Now, the second mistake that many people make in the IELTS speaking exam is using flat intonation. So, what is intonation? Well, intonation is the pitch of your voice and whether it goes up or whether it goes down. So, let's look at these 2 sentences as an example. I love playing football. Now let's look at this sentence again. I love playing football. Can you see the difference? Did you notice that in the second sentence, I stretched out the word love? I said I love playing football. I increased my pitch here. And this is what intonation is. It's when you go up and down in your speech. And this is what you should be doing in your speaking exam, especially when talking about things that you like and things that you dislike. Remember, we should be ignoring flat intonation. You don't want to be speaking like this. It is not natural. So which sentence sounds more natural? The second one, right? And that's because I added my emotion to the sentence. I increased the pitch when I said the word love. I love playing football. Well, there's 2 things that you can do. The first thing that you can do is, just like the last example, you can answer IELTS speaking questions. In this example, what we want to do is record our answers. So when we are speaking and we are answering these questions, you should record your own voice. And then when you have answered these questions, go back and listen to your recording. And you will be able to tell if you used the correct intonation or if you used flat intonation. And obviously, if you used flat intonation, then you should just continue to practice and practice until speaking with the correct intonation becomes more natural. Now, mistake number 3 is giving short answers. Okay, so this is where the examiner asks you a question and you give a very short answer. So let's look at an example. So if the examiner asks you, what is your job? And you say, I'm an engineer. That's fine, okay? But then if he or she asks you, do you like your job? And you just say, yes. That answer is too short. It's not good enough. So how can we fix this problem? Well, the easiest way to do this is just to extend your answers. And we can do this by giving the opposite opinion. So here is an example. Do you like your job? Yes, I love my job. However, the working hours are extremely long. I wish I could work less hours. Can you see what I did there? I explained that I do actually like my job, and then I gave a reason of the opposite. So the opposite would be that I don't like my job. So I gave a reason of why I may not like my job. So if you go back and watch my answer, you would see that I said, yes, I love my job. And then I explained, however, there are some reasons why I don't like my job. And then I gave an example. This is an easy way to make sure that you don't give short answers. Now let's look at another example. Do you go to the gym often? Yes, I often go to the gym. However, recently I've been so busy that I've missed a few sessions of the gym. Again, what you can see there is that I answered by saying, yes, I like something, and then giving the opposite answer. So, however, and then give a negative answer. And this is very helpful for part 2 of the speaking exam. So, for part 2 of the speaking exam, you will be expected to speak up to 2 minutes without stopping. Now, the examiner will give you a card, and on that card there will be a topic and a few questions. So you will have 60 seconds to look at this card and make notes, and then you'll be expected to speak for 2 minutes. 2 minutes can be a very long time to speak, especially when nobody's speaking to you. Remember, you'll be expected to speak without stopping. So what you can do to extend your answers and make sure that you don't stop speaking early is use the 5W method. So the 5W method is where you answer the following 5 questions. They don't need to be in this order, and those 5 W's are who, what, where, when, and why. So let's look at an example. So here on your screen you can see a card, and let's go through this together. So it says, describe a holiday you went on. You can talk about where you went, how you got there, what did you do there, and did you enjoy it? So during our 60 seconds where we can make notes, what we can do is just write out the 5 W's, and next to each W just give 1 or 2 answers. And then when our 60 seconds is over, we can use these answers, just look at the card and then talk. So let's do this together. Now you will notice that some of the W's are already on this card. So we can just ignore this card and we can just stick to our own 5 W's. Remember, they don't need to be in any specific order. So for where, that could just be where did I go? So here I will just write Dubai. When, that could just be when did I go? So I will write 2020. Who, that could mean who did I go with? So for this I will just write me, my friends Adam and Mohammed. And for why, this could mean why did I go? And I will just write I went on holiday because it was my birthday. I've just made that up, but I'm just going to write that down for this example. And for what, this could just mean what did we do there. So in this case, I will just write we went to the beach and we visited the world's tallest building, the Burj Khalifa. Now, writing this out will take me less than 60 seconds. So now, once my 60 seconds are over, I can use these answers and just look at them and just talk about my holiday. This will help me extend my answers and it will help me reach the 2-minute mark, and most importantly, it will help me to make sure that I do not give short answers. Now, just an extra point for this. Just say you talk about all these things and there is still time left over. You can either stop or you can just continue on and talk about another holiday and answer the same questions. But obviously, in that case, you will not be able to make extra notes because you have already finished your 60 seconds. I will make another video on this area here and go into this in a bit more detail. Now, let's look at the next mistake that many people make, and that is to use the same word over and over again. Now, this mistake actually happens a lot in both the speaking exam and in the writing exam. Let's look at this text on the screen and I want you to see what is wrong with it. So, there are many advantages of using iPads in school. One of the advantages of using technology is that students can access educational websites. Another advantage is that using technology can help prepare students for the future. Another advantage of using iPads in school is that it can allow students to connect with other students and discuss work. Now, there are a few things that are wrong with this paragraph, and one of them is that I have repeated some words throughout the whole paragraph. So all we need to do here is just learn a few synonyms of the word advantage. Now, what is a synonym? Now, a synonym is where you have a word or a phrase and they mean the exact same thing or something similar to another word. For example, a synonym of small is tiny or short. A synonym of big is tall, gigantic, huge, large. So by using synonyms, we can avoid repeating the same word over and over again. So now let's look at this example at the top. Underneath it is the same paragraph, but the only thing I've done differently here is just replaced the word advantages with some synonyms. So one of the synonyms that I have used is benefit, and another synonym that I have used is positive aspect. Now you can pause this video and read the paragraph, and feel free to screenshot this image so you can compare both paragraphs. So as a challenge, you can develop this paragraph and leave it in the comment section below. And if you do this, I will have a look at it and give you my thoughts. Now let's look at the next mistake, and that is to use words that are unnatural to you. So this usually happens when people try to show off, which I understand and that is fine. But what you should avoid is trying to use a word that comes unnatural to you. So let's look at an example. Do you work or study? Yes, I participate in laborious activities in exchange for money. Can you see how unnatural that sounds? Yes, there were some words that I used here that are at a higher level of vocabulary, but this is not a sentence that we would use on a day-to-day basis. It is better for you to just answer the question in a natural and an organic way. So how can we fix this problem and how can we avoid making this mistake? Honestly, the best way to do this is just try to speak naturally. So for example, if you see a friend that you have not seen in a very long time, and they approach you and ask you, "Oh, hi, how are you? I've not seen you in a very long time. What are you up to these days?" You probably won't say, "Yes, I participate in laborious activities in exchange for money." Yes, it's too unnatural. You might answer, "I'm studying engineering at university." Or you might say, "I now work as a nurse." Can you see the difference? We're just trying to speak naturally. So the best way to practice this is just to try and speak to a friend. If you cannot find a friend to speak to, there are many Facebook groups that you can join that are filled with people that are looking for speaking partners. Now, I will leave a link in the description below, which is the link to my personal Facebook group, which is filled with IELTS students looking for speaking partners. And I will also be in that group. So if you have any questions, you can contact me there. Now, mistake number 6 is something that many people worry about, and that is worrying about your accent. Now, one thing to remember is that all accents are natural. There is no right accent and there is no wrong accent. So you should not feel uncomfortable about speaking in your own accent. Often people try to change their accent to sound more British or to sound more American, but you do not need to worry about this, especially in the IELTS exam. You will not be marked down for speaking in any type of accent. Speaking in your own accent is completely fine. And I do understand that some people might feel insecure, but remember, speaking in an accent, or if you feel like your English is a bit broken, this just shows you and everybody else that you speak more than one language. And the world is filled with people who can only speak one language. So don't worry about speaking a second language, English, in a broken accent or in a different type of accent. It's completely fine to speak in any way you naturally speak. However, if you do want to develop your English, a good way to do this is just watch TV shows. An example of this is just watching Friends on Netflix. By watching TV shows like this, it will help you see and understand how English is spoken naturally. And this is what we want to aim for, speaking naturally and fluently. Okay, so the final mistake that many people often make in the IELTS speaking exam is using fillers. So what is a filler? Well, a filler is dead words that people use in the middle of sentences. So for example, if you were to ask me, "Do you like sports?" and I would reply, yes, I love sports. One of my favorite sports is football. Can you see those ums and ahs? Those are called fillers. So what can we do to make sure that we don't make this mistake? Well, honestly, the best way to do this is, well, there are 2 ways we can do this. One of them is to read a book in English, but when we are reading, we want to try and read out loud. This will help us get in the habit of speaking fluently and naturally without these dead words. Another way we can fix this problem is just by speaking as much as we possibly can in the English language. Even if that means talking to yourself. Don't be scared or shy to ask yourself some questions and then answer them out loud in English. Remember, you are practicing to speak a brand new language. Now, if you benefited from this video, please hit the like button and leave a comment below so YouTube can share this video with more people who are preparing for the IELTS speaking exam. And I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.